and welcome to this new video. In this one we are going to focus on BIM hierarchy, that is the way that Revit follows to sort all the elements inside the model. An important concept that we have handled with it through the using of Autodesk Revit in this BIM methodology is the concept of the hierarchy of the different elements. All elements, depending on the software, are going to be sorted from or in one way or in another. What it happens that, for instance, in Autodesk Revit, we are going to have this situation. We are going to have this sorting. The first one is the category of the element. Later is the family. Third one is the type. And the last is the element. This is not only important for modeling, this is also quite important for data management. We are going to see later in other videos how to handle different parametric families, and also we are going to see visual programming through Dynamo and Python. So this hierarchy is quite important because this is the way that Revit is sorting different elements. So when I want to select parameters related to this element, I should know what is the sorting that Autodesk Revit apply to the different elements. But okay, this is the theoretical part. How is the practical part? Let's click here and let's see. We have this model that here in your Autodesk Revit software, we can handle all the views of the model in this part, into the right part. So as you can find, you can see structural elements, you can see floor plans, you can see theory plans, you can see 3D views, and the handle of this and the visualization of every single view depends on the modeler. So let's see that I want to go to a 3D, and for instance a 3D, in this part I can make a section through the infrastructure and I can see all the elements inside. But related to the hierarchy and the sorting of the elements, let's see what we were talking about. For instance, this part that I am going to click now, this is a wall. So I'm clicking it, and in the left part, I have all the properties of the element. So what is this? This is a category, this is a family, an element, or a type. Okay, every single element that I can click on it inside the model, it's an element, so it's the lower part of the hierarchy. So this is an element. What is the type, the family, and the category? Those things are detailed in this part. So as you can see, this is the category, this is the family, and this is the type. What is the element? This is the element. So those are the 4 types or 4 categories that we can find in this Revit hierarchy. Let's see in another way, quite more simple. I'm going to open a new model, a new project. I'm going to File, New, a new project. And it will be totally empty. This is an RVT file. Okay, and we are going to have different plans, we are going to have different views, and so on. Let's try to find a 3D view, for instance. And let's go now to a floor plan. I'm going to define different walls in order to see how we can divide the elements and how they are sorted inside the hierarchy. Let's go to architecture and let's go to a wall. As you can see, we are going to have many types of walls, and also I can change the parameters inside of them. So let's, for instance, create this one, partition 1 HR. This will be one element, this will be another element, and this will be another element. And now I'm going to create a retaining wall, this one. 2 elements. Let's go to a 3D view, for instance. And as you can see, it seems that they are similar, but they are not. what is the difference? Okay, I will select and I will see every single parameter of them to see the hierarchy. I will put here the hierarchy, as you can remember, category, family, type, and element. So what is the category? In Revit, in this environment, categories are by default. I cannot create new categories. Neither I cannot create new families. However, I can handle and I can create new types and new elements. Okay, but always they have to be linked with one family, already existing family, or another category. For instance, I will click on this. As you can see, if I check those parameters, I can see that this is the category, this is the family, and this is the type. So, as you can see, later in Dynamo and here in Revit, you can select all the elements and change the parameters quite faster if you handle the types or families of the elements. So, for instance, I can select all the elements of one family. As you can see, what I'm doing, I am selecting this retaining wall and this is another retaining wall. I can select all the elements of this type. So this is a category wall, this is a family basic wall, and this is the type retaining wall. This is one element. If I click with Ctrl and the left button of the mouse, I can select again the wall. As you can see, the parameters doesn't change. They are in the same position. If I click in another, now I can see that Revit says to me that this is multiple types. I will select this one and I am category walls, I am family basic wall, and I am an interior wall. So what happened? Every single, as you can see here, all of these walls are category walls. Also, all of these walls are family basic walls. And I cannot change that. What can I change? I can change the type. For instance, I have this type, the retaining wall, and I have the other type. So why is this so important? Because imagine that you have a very big infrastructure, a very big project, and you are handled with visual programming and you are handled IFC parameters related to a public tender or to an official guideline or something related with. It is quite interesting to change as fast as possible all the parameters, and you can use this sorting way to change all the parameters in a multiple way, not changing the parameters element by element. So this is the most important part, the hierarchy of the elements in Revit. So as you can see, I cannot create another category, I cannot create another family, but I can create many types. This is a retaining wall and this is another type. Let's imagine that I want to create my own type of wall. For instance, a concrete wall. So I will go to my architectural part, in this part, and I will go to a new wall, architectural wall, and here in type, as you can see, if I go to this part to duplicate, I can click on it and create my new type wall. And I can change every single parameter here, the material, the width, the length, whatever you want. So that is your new type of wall. I will click in OK, for instance, and this is my new type. As you can see, I have my category, I have my family, and I have my type. Okay, so I just going to model it. Let's imagine that this is, and I have duplicate this from this. That's why they are quite similar related to in terms of visualization, but I can change every single parameter inside of it, and it will be totally independent. related to the original wall. So if I go to the 3D again, this is my new wall that I can change, for instance, the properties. Instead of concrete, I can go to a structure and, for instance, let's select another material, precast concrete, for instance. Okay, okay, and okay. Well, the visualization properties are the same, but the material is not the same. So as you can see, if I click all the elements, I have the category walls, all of them are the family basic walls, and I have different types. If I click in each element, this is a retaining wall, the type, this is another retaining, this is the other type, and this is my new type. So it's always quite important to know the way of sorting elements that Revit is using. Category, family, type, and element. And remember that every single element that I can click is this one, the lower level. So this is quite important not only for modeling, also for data management through visual programming. So hope that this video will be interesting for you, and see you in the next one. Thanks for your attention. This video and this mock is part of the project Digital Twins Infrastructure and Cities. You can find more information through this link and through this QR. Thank you very much for your time.